Hey guys, it's Chris Prefontaine with another Deal Structure Sunday, and I am with Mike Ryan from Jersey.
Yes.
All right,
That's
I don't want
correct.
to goof that up. Too many names in my head. Mike, welcome, buddy. And this is unique for a few reasons. So I'll just give the audience a little background here. So one reason is you're not an associate, nor have you been. Number two, we met at, I'm trying to think, it was probably QLS Live Event 2017.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Interrupt me if I get this wrong. I think at that time you had done like, I don't know, like that year, like 7 or 8 deals, but you were looking to transition full time.
Correct.
Okay. And then at 2018 QLS Live, to my enjoyment, you stood up and said you did 20 something deals and you did make your full-time transition away from the police force and into real estate full-time.
Yep. You got it.
And how many children?
4.
4 kids. So needless to say, you have more fun with them than you have since you left the JOB.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So comments for people that, I'm going to ask you a couple different things today, but comments for people first before we do a deal that maybe haven't done the QLS video program yet. I mean, we didn't talk about this before the show. I just said I want to ask you about it. So what are your thoughts?
They should do it. I mean, it's a great program. I was able to do the QLS program before ever coming to the QLS event. There was plenty of information in there from you guys as to how to structure, how to find the deals, how to sell the deals, and a lot of those first few deals that I did, I took with other things that I had already known from other education, but I used a lot of your system in order to figure out how to do it without ever having worked with you guys, and it was awesome. It was just what I needed to kind of give the finishing touches on putting a system together that worked.
Yeah, it's like you said, like it wasn't like you were new to real estate. We got a few other people. Denise comes to mind. You probably met Denise at the event, but it's not like you're new to real estate. This just got added to your repertoire and to your knowledge base. It sounds like it's cool.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of that, let's dive into a deal. I have nothing written down. I'm just going to ask you questions. You briefly mentioned a deal that pivoted a few times. So first of all, what was the source of this deal we're going to talk about?
The source was an expired listing.
Expired. Okay. And a rough price range?
It was on the lower side. It's probably in the low 100s.
Low 100s. Okay. Good for people to hear because we've seen deal structures from this range all the way up to $1 million. Okay. So how'd you acquire it? Lease purchase, subject to owner financing?
Subject to.
Subject to. Okay. And then you sold it the standard way, rent own type.
I did, yes. Yeah, we sold it for rent to own.
And do you remember how much more you sold it for than the subject to underlying loan and then the monthlies?
I sold it for $20,000 more than the underlying loan.
Okay. And how about the monthly?
The monthly was about a $400 cash flow.
400.
400.
Okay, sweet. And then I'm not gonna talk about the back end because that's where you had a pivot. So then tell us a little bit about what happened, and I'll jump in.
Sure. Well, my tenant got into some financial trouble. We had a lot of different life events occur, and he fell behind on his rent. So, he kept telling me he was going to make payments and didn't fulfill his promises. And I knew what was going on, so I was trying to kind of help him if I could.
Yeah.
Ended up not being able to do it. We filed for eviction. At the eviction hearing, he signed basically a settlement saying when he was going to make all the payments, and he did. He came up with all the back payments. He made us whole. And the very next month, he fell behind again. He told me, Mike, I'm sorry, I lost my business went under. I don't have any money. I don't even know how to feed my kids. So, it was a tough situation for him to be in. So
Yeah,
what I do,
serious life event.
yeah. So, I mean, I know in New Jersey, it was probably going to take me 60 to 90 days to get the property back if I evicted him. Plus, I'm going to have the legal fees of the evicting. Plus, holding the property for those 3 months. Then if he trashed it, I'd have to fix it back up and, do all that stuff. So I offered him, I said, hey, listen, what if I give you $1,000? And, you move out in 2 weeks, have a broom swept clean the way that you found it. And we'll just part ways. I said, and if you do this, you work it out, then hey, when you get back on your feet, if you want to work together again, I understand it was just a life event. You didn't do this on purpose. I'm happy to work with you again in the future. So he was grateful for that. I knew he needed the money for his kids, and it was just a win-win because he needed it for food and for other things, and it also got me the property back in 2 weeks.
Okay, so a couple things I want to point out for the listeners. Aside from what we said earlier about you adding QLS video program and never doing consulting or coaching, which is really cool. This life event people need to know about. Most mentors and coaches will not put this stuff out there. We do on purpose so people don't go out in the field and go, I thought this was all easy. So it's not easy. It's simple, but it's never easy. And so 95% of the buyers might go through the exact same process and create a win because we set them up to win. But shit's going to happen with these buyers. There's no question, because in the longer your terms are, the more time people have for a life event, a divorce, a death, a job loss like this, it happens. So you made the best out of it, and you did it morally and ethically too to help the guy, which is kind of cool. And then, okay, so I call it pivoting. So now you get this house, he's out. Now what?
Well, I didn't have to really do much at all to it. There was a leak in the ceiling from the bathroom, so I think it cost me $300 to have the ceiling redone and fix that. And I probably in about 30 days, maybe 45 days later at the most, I resold it for more than I had the first time and under much better terms.
Okay, I didn't ask you, and if you said it, I'm sorry. So how long did that guy stay in there paying? Because you had a $400 spread and 20 up front. How long did he stay?
Probably at least 8 months.
Okay, so about 3,200. So you had about 23 grand up front, and you had to pay $300 to fix. Was it empty long? One month maybe?
Prior to putting him in the beginning?
After. When you get out.
It wasn't even 60 days. It was probably 30 to 45 days it was empty.
Okay, so probably another mortgage payment. Okay, so you're probably still at like 21, 22 grand to the plus. And then on the resale, how'd you sell it?
Sold it with owner financing on a land installment contract or contract for deed.
Nice. And you got how much up front?
12,000.
Another 12. So you're at like 34, 35. How much you make on the owner financing every month?
$500.
500. So you up that too.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And how long did you give that buyer for the owner financing?
I gave him 30-year M.
30. So
at
wow.
10% interest.
Nice. So you got about 30 something grand to the positive from the upfronts. Now you got 500, you got $6 grand a year coming in on the monthlies.
Correct. Plus, obviously, because they're at such a high interest rate, and my first sub 2 loan is only, I think, at about 4.8%. So I'm making a nice yield on that. So I'm getting that additional paper profit every month as well.
I love it. I love it. So you combined a whole bunch of strategies there. You got sub 2, rent to own, and owner financing all in one deal.
Yep.
It's a nice pivot, Mr. Mike. Good show. And I want to just put a big explanation point, Mike, on two things here. You made a job transfer. There's a whole bunch of viewers, they're going to see this, that wish they could do that. And you did it on your own, and of course you utilized one of our tools, the QLS video program. Any words of wisdom for those that have a job now that just kind of keep that one foot there and just never make the leap? Anything at all?
Do it. Get out of the job. Life is entirely different when you don't have an employer telling you when you have to be there and when you have to be away from your family. And when you can kind of captain your own ship, there's nothing like it. So whatever you have to do, whatever you have to scrounge for, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, do it and get out of the job.
I love it. I appreciate it. Just like you did with the QLS video program and then the QLS live event, I can encourage people more to do that. I'll put that in the show notes, and I appreciate your time today, buddy.
Okay.
Thanks, pal.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.